PM fans, welcome back to another video in our week-long Hello Darling preview series. Today we're focusing on our clear stamp impressions, and our clear stamp impressions are our 4x6 clear stamp sets, and the name of the stamp set for the Hello Darling collection is called Window Box Greetings. I'll take these out so I can show you a little bit more of what they look like here. As you can see, they feature a lot of the hand-drawn flowers seen throughout the paper in the collection, as well as some hand-drawn sentiments such as happy birthday, happy for you, love you, congrats. Along with the flowers, you get all the elements you need to kind of make a window box display of your choice, which is awesome. You can also make bouquets. There's some stems included here, so you can use the flowers without this window box if you like. It also includes different size leaves, as well as some hearts, and as well as this two-toned heart stamp here, which means that the heart stamp was cut in half, designed in two separate pieces, so you can stamp one half with one color and the other half with another. This is really cool because we have this, and it was inspired by this page design here where we have a whole pattern full of different two-toned hearts, which I think is really cool, and you can kind of really make a project your own, being able to be as versatile as this. With that being said, we're going to make a couple of tags today using this stamp set. One on watercolor paper, because I want to show you how these stamps were designed, in that they were designed so that you can color in with your Copic markers, with your watercolor markers, with your paint, with your gelatos, whatever you like to use. If you don't like to watercolor or paint, or you're not a Copic fan, that's fine. You can still stamp these just as they are and they'll turn out just as beautiful. You can also paper piece them, which is really cool. So we're also going to use this two-toned heart to create a happy birthday tag that I think you'll really like, and you can really customize it to whoever the gift receiver is going to be. So first we're going to do the watercolor stamp, and I want to make a rose. We'll make it for Valentine's Day, let's say, for someone you love, or even a family member. Obviously, you love your family members. But, as a gift to a loved one, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to use the stamp set. As you can see, it's gotten a little use. This is kind of the one I've been playing with recently. But I want to make a flower, a rose, and just use this love sentiment. So we're going to take this long stem. I'm using the long one because I want to make sure I have enough room for my love sentiment kind of off to the side here. And this tag is a little long for the flower I'm doing, so if you're not comfortable with the amount of white space at the top, and you'll see what I mean when I'm done, definitely just cut your tag and make it a little bit smaller and you'll be able to fill it out a little bit better. But I don't mind the long tags. I feel like they have more of a presence. And because we're going to be watercoloring this, I want to make sure I'm using in black ink that can stand up to watercolor. And that's going to be Monte. I don't know what you use, but that works well for me. I also want to make my rose kind of, not so much a perfect stem, but more of like maybe a little wave. So that's what's great about these little stems that you use. You can kind of manipulate them to do what you want. So you can have a perfectly straight rose, or you can have one with a little motion to it, which I think is what I'm going to go for. Not too much, but just enough to give it some life, I guess. Okay. Also included in this stamp set, for the rose flower in particular, are these two kind of little horseshoe U-shapes, and those are extensions of the stem. So when you get a bud of a rose, it has that beautiful kind of, I don't know what it's called technically, but it definitely sets up the bud, kind of connects it to the stem. So that's what this little guy is. You can use it, you don't have to use it, it's just there. It's just there if you want it. I think it's really easy to stamp because these are clear stamps. They're really easy to use. So it does look a little bit tiny, but it definitely, I think every time I've stamped it, I've been close enough to where it looks like it's supposed to be where it is. So it's nothing to worry about. I'm going to take my rosebud. Make sure I get that on there good and clear. And I stamped off the tag a little, which I kind of like. If you do not like that, just make sure whenever you stamp your stem, you're far enough away from the edge to set yourself up right. And I'm going to take my love sentiment, and I want this to kind of go along the edge of the stem, so we'll just do that right along there. And I forgot about my leaves, but that's okay, there's still room to make some in there. We can use small ones or large ones or a combination of both, whatever your heart desires. That's the point, right? So we'll just take a small one on this side since we have our love sentiment creeping up the side there. We'll just do that. Some of the leaves leave a negative impression, so you'll get the leaf full with the outline empty. Some of the other leaves are open, so that you may add your own color if you like. Okay, so now on to the watercoloring. I like to use watercolor pencils. If you hear Monte eating, I apologize. I just realized, I totally blacked him out. I just realized he's eating behind me right now. So I apologize if you hear him crunching in the background. No, he's drinking. I'm so sorry. I really should have paused this. Alright. What can you do? So this is why I used Memento black ink, because it's an ink that will not smear when it comes in contact with water. For the next tag, I want to use the 2 heart ends to create a 2-toned heart pattern using 4 different colors. So there's going to be 2 different hearts for 4 different colors across the 2 hearts. And some of my favorite inks right now are these neon inks by Hero Arts. I just love them. I can't get enough of them. So I'm going to keep using them and create kind of a fun little birthday tag. First things first, because the sentiment is more important, I'm going to find my placing for that and work my hearts around that placing. I obviously want to make sure I don't get carried away and stamp too many hearts before I've got my sentiment. So what I'm probably going to do first is I want to heat emboss them using Versamark, and I'm going to try and keep my head out of the frame as much as possible. I noticed I was doing that, and I apologize. These are my first, these few videos this week are kind of my first doing this for a blog, so I just, there's a lot of things I watch back, and I'm like, oh no! That I'll definitely, I can find myself working on in the future. One of those things is putting my head in the video, but I was so worried about getting everything precise, I kind of forgot about that. So I will keep that in the back of my mind, I promise. For now, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And I'm using silver embossing powder, whichever silver you have. I should have used my powder tool in this first, but I forgot. So we're going to do this and hope for the best. I'm going to use these little stems as kind of graphical lines here to ground the sentiment a little bit more to the tag so it doesn't kind of look like it's floating around everywhere. So I'm going to kind of do them very sporadically. I'm going to do a pink and a green and a blue and a purple. So kind of make them go off the page as well. Sorry. I'm working on it, I promise. Just want to kind of keep a wet wipe or a wet towel or something around with you here. And then we'll do a blue and purple. What side do I want? We'll do blue this side. Put that away. Purple on that other side. And you just kind of keep going like that. And I got a little blue in it, but that's okay. I'm not going to go nuts. Go blue. So yeah, do that and go along in any pattern you like. You can be very precise, go in a grid pattern, or you can go all over the place. So this is what the finished tag looks like using the two-toned heart stamp, as well as the happy birthday sentiment and the stems as kind of like little graphical lines there to anchor the sentiment. And that's the window box greeting stamp set, brand new from Monte Paper Mill. Thanks so much for stopping by, and thanks for sticking with me.